All right, so our theme today is siphon it up. So we're going to work with the action of kind of like siphoning something, lifting our energy up, and we'll find that in different ways throughout the body, in different positions, through different poses. Just really taking time to connect to the variation we can find in our movement, and how we can be intentional about maybe relieving pain or adding some more length in areas that we're struggling in. So if you're just coming in, as I said, our class is working today with the idea of siphoning. And as always, we're doing it in our LYT method, LYT Yoga sequence. Just one more person's coming in. We'll go ahead and start on our backs for a low bridge. Planting the feet on the floor, knees pointing up to the ceiling. Finding those feet a comfortable distance away, away from the pelvis, and settle your back here. And then press into those feet, lengthen the tailbone before you lift that pelvis off the floor, coming into your low bridge. And immediately I want you to think of two siphoning actions. The first, envision the ribs almost siphoning out of the pelvic bowl. So kind of imagine the ribs above the pelvis, bringing a little bit of length like into the waist side body region. The second siphoning is an option. If you'd like, you can start to lift and lower the heels, pressing into the big toe mounds there and really just feeling like you had this uplifting energy through the ankles there. That's an option, of course, and if at any point you need to lower down, you do that. We'll press the wrists up towards the ceiling here, open them up by pulling back on the right fingers with the left hand. Check in with those ribs once again, trying to almost lengthen the sides of your waist. And then we'll switch hands. So press the left palm up, just briefly opening up the forearm here. We always do this to prepare for the weight bearing that we'll do on the hands. And if you've got the heels going, you can lower them. We'll all just pause for 1 second in our low bridge. If you're up, if you're down, that's great. And give an extra inch of curl to the tailbone, reaching that tailbone towards the heels, and then keep that length as you slowly lower through the spine. Take a moment when you've lowered that pelvis just to settle. I'm gonna lock our Zoom room. And we'll move on to the beloved and the dreaded core work today. As always, if you wanna keep the feet as is, feel free to do that. I'm gonna show with the legs lifted, but if you keep the feet on the floor, just ignore the actions with the legs. Interlace those hands behind the head, elbows pointing up. We'll inhale here. Exhale, head and shoulder blades peel off the mat. And here I want you to feel a sense of downward pull, like you were pulling the front of you down towards your mat. Inhale, lean the skull back and lower to the floor. Just like that, one more time. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Downward energy in that front body. Also really feeling the anchor of the sacrum, the back of the pelvis there. And then inhale, lower. We'll start our optional add-ons here. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift, peeling up. And then maybe add a twist to the left, just moving through your central axis. So not expressing it so much in the head and elbows, but really making the rib cage do that work. You'll feel the oblique light up, back to center, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Option to twist to the right, same principle here. Not making our head be the thing that makes it look like we're twisting, but truly twisting an inch or two from your central line. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. Another layer of add-on if you'd like. Inhale, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Adding on the twist to the left. Option to lower the right leg to about 45 or higher, and then cross the legs. So really squeeze the thighs together there. Uncross, back to neutral, inhale, lower. Exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Option to twist right here. Option to slightly lower that left leg and then cross the legs at the upper thigh, really squeezing them together, staying off that right shoulder blade. Back to neutral, inhale. We've got one more layer. This one will, it makes it hard to breathe, so if my voice goes, I apologize. Inhale, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. We'll twist to the left if you'd like. Lower the right leg, cross those legs, and then in this position, lift the tailbone, siphon it off the floor. So you lift the legs up slightly, keep the sacrum anchored. You can do it with the feet down too. Back to neutral, inhale, lower. Woo! Last time, exhale, head and shoulder blades lift. Twist to the right. Option to lower the left leg, crossing the legs, and then scoop that tailbone up, siphoning. Really gets into the low abdominals. Back to neutral. Inhale and just let the knees bend. Release for a second. Feel a sense of heat that may be built in that core, and we'll try to hold on to the sense of integration we got from that exercise. And we'll just take our time to make our way up and around to all fours, heading to our quadruped. I feel like I need to go. That one always kind of squeezes that last bit out. So we'll have our hands planted on the floor, wrists right under the shoulders. And the knees are drawn in so they're under the hip joint. So it might feel a little tighter than you're used to or than feels like you've seen. And keep holding on to that sense of integration from your deepest abdominals, your low belly, all the way up towards the front of your rib cage. From here, we'll keep the right knee bent. We'll lift the leg up. So extending the front of the right hip, but holding on to that front core. So only go as high with that leg as you can, keeping the front laced together. We'll extend the right knee, lower the toes, and then slide this shape over to the right. And when I do that, I'm actually going to sweep the leg kind of up a bit towards my right hand, nice and extended. And we'll go back to the toes on the floor, bend the knee, and really feel that right glute light up. Maybe add a couple pulses here with the right leg. Then extend the knee, toes lower, and you'll swing that leg out to the right and back. Let's do 2 more of this series. Bend the knee, we'll press it up, extend the knee, and then swing it to the right. Last time, knee bends, we add these pulses, hold on to the front body, extend the knee, and slide the leg up. We'll lower the right knee to the floor and switch sides. If you need a break for the wrists, you can always shake them out and sit the hips back. Starting nice and slow here, we'll extend the left hip, keep the knee bent. Take kind of a diagnostic moment here. Check in with the pelvis, check in with your core. If you had to spill it towards the floor to lift the leg, go lower with that leg. And then we'll extend the left knee and add our swing to the left here. Adjust your space if you need it. If you need a little more room to the side. And then swing it back, toes on the floor, and bend the knee. Option to add your glute pulse here. Nothing moves except that hip. Extend the knee and then swing the leg out to the left. Back towards neutral, re-bend, and we glute pulse. And extend the knee, swing it out. Back to neutral. Last time we pulse. Extend the knee, and we'll swing it out to the left. Back to neutral. Lower that knee under you, And then we'll take a dolphin. If you hate dolphin, you can head to a down dog. If you'd like to try it, lower the elbows, forearms on the floor. Option to interlace your fingers. We'll release the head, tuck your toes, and then extend the knees to some extent. And we'll lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. In this position, almost feel a sense of doming the upper back. So you're kind of protracting the scapula, the shoulder blades. And that sense of lift is what's holding you up. So it's a huge amount of shoulder strength, while you're also asking your shoulders to be really mobile. So it's a complex pose. Just for a second, curl the chin towards the throat, bring the gaze up towards the pelvis or belly button. And then release the neck long. And if you're in this dolphin, you can try internally rotating the hips so the toes come slightly in, heels slightly out. If you're in down dog, you can do this as well. And then come back to neutral. We'll lower the knees. Just shift the hips back briefly for a child's pose. Big inhale. And exhale. Feeling that remnant or maybe the early phase of that lifting up in the body in different ways. And then we'll shift forward, moving towards a bent knee forward fold. You can walk the legs in, but keep those knees nice and bent. Long spine here, and if you're using the music today, you can go ahead and start the first song. We'll rise to stand, pressing into those feet. Inhale, arms lift, and imagine like something was sucking up the rib cage from above you. Shoulders lift towards the ears. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant to the floor or blocks, right foot steps back, lower the knee, untuck the toes, and inhale, arms lift. Feel a sense of crease in the left hip joint. And then again, that sense of lifting through the upper body. Like there was an agent outside of you doing that. We'll plant the hands. You can head to down dog or come to plank. Turn those glutes on here. Lower the knees, and then as you lower, imagine again, you have this force above you kind of pulling you away from the floor. So we're not going to collapse. Inhale, cobra, chest pulls forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift into your down dog. We'll step the right foot forward for a half kneel. Lower the left knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. Turning the left glute on as we lift up and out with the rib cage and upper body. Exhale, plant the hands forward and step the left foot in, bending those knees. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant on the floor or blocks. Step the left foot back, lower that knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, arms lift. We'll add a little arm series here. Exhale, pull the elbows to a goalpost or cactus. And then sweep the elbows down by your waist. We'll interlace the fingers in front of you and punch this shape up to the ceiling. Let the shoulders pull up here. And exhale, goalpost. Pull those elbows down, interlace the fingers in front of the belly, and punch this shape up to the ceiling. Exhale, elbows pull down towards the waist. Interlace the fingers and punch it up. Siphoning up here from this strong pelvis, and then plant the hands for down dog or head to plank. Lower the knees, feel that sense of something resisting the collapse to the floor. And inhale, cobra. Exhale, lift into your downward facing dog. We'll step the left foot forward, lower the right knee, top of the foot, inhale, lift. And revisit this goalpost series. So exhale, elbows pull to 90 degrees. Draw the elbows towards the waist and then interlace those fingers to punch up. Exhale, goalpost. Elbows pull down to the waist, interlace the fingers, and inhale, punch it up. Lifting the ribs. Exhale, pull the elbows. Last time, down to the waist. Interlace the fingers and inhale, punch it up. Really feel some opening in the right hip. And exhale, plant the hands forward, step the right foot in, bending the knees. Inhale, rise to stand. Moving to our first sequence. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant to the floor or blocks, right foot steps back. Lower the knee, but keep the toes tucked here. Inhale, lift, and bring the right hand in front of the pelvis, left hand behind. Get a sense of anchoring here and strength, and then slide your hands over so that you take them onto either side of the pelvis, so like hands on the hips. We'll shift forward, hinging at the left hip, and extend the right knee for a tilted crescent. Lower the right knee really carefully here, back to our low lunge. You can sandwich the hands once again, bringing right hand in front, left behind. Slide the arms over to the sides of your pelvis. Hinge in that left hip crease. Nice long diagonal as that right leg extends, tilted crescent. You also could take an option of planting the palms into the left thigh. We'll lower that right knee, sandwich the pelvis. This time bring your hands to the front of the ribs as you shift forward towards that tilted crescent. Remind them to siphon away from that left thigh. And then slide the right arm alongside the ear, reaching forward, left arm reaching back by the pelvis. Really feel the right glute turn on and this long line, strength from right hand to right heel. Turn to the right side of your mat for side lunges. Toes face this direction, and we bend into right knee and hip and left. Our goal here is to keep that nice long neutral spine and sit the hip creases back rather than force the knees over the toes. And we'll kind of play with this a bit later in the flow. Pause bending into right knee and hip. If it feels okay, you can bring the left fingers to the floor. Peel the right arm up for a twist, twisting towards that right leg. But as you go, sense if the front of your body wants to spill towards the floor and resist that. Once again, broken record, but siphoning up away from the floor. This next movement's going to be intense on the right hip, so if it's too much, I'll show some variations. But if you have the right hand lifted, we'll plant both hands on the floor under the shoulders. Shift the weight into the right leg and abduct the left leg. So you flex the foot, keep the toes facing the side of the mat, but lift the leg off the mat. Now, to have the hands on the floor is quite a lot on the flexion in the right hip, so you can add blocks or books under the hand here, and that gives a little bit of space in the hip. Now, if this action, the lifting and lowering of the left leg, just doesn't feel good to you, keep going with your side lunges. You don't have to do this. 2 more. Good, and then we'll transition through a seated twist position. Cross the left knee behind the right foot. Sit onto the pelvis to face the opposite side of the mat. Plant those feet on the floor, fingers face those feet. Press into hands and feet and lift for a reverse table. Lower the pelvis, creasing at the hips. Use your glutes and lift. So we'll lift and lower here. Try to keep the chest, encouraging it to be open rather than letting the shoulder joint kind of roll forward, collapsing. If you need to adjust the hands to face fingers away from each other, that will help with that opening of the chest. 2 more. Good. Lower the pelvis, open the left knee towards the back of the mat. We'll plant the right foot towards the back of the mat and shift into it. You can pause in a bent knee pyramid or lift the left leg for a standing L. Planting into the hands, Almost getting a sense of cobra in the chest here, but simultaneously trying to siphon low belly and the rib cage away from the right knee, right thigh. If you want a little extra, you can lift and lower the left leg about an inch, starting to get a little extra glute activation on the left side, but it also, you'll feel, will ramp up the right glute. Check in with the chin, see if it's trying to jut towards the floor. Just encourage it to pull towards the throat. And then we'll all lower the left toes, rise to a crescent lunge, bending the left knee slightly as you lift the torso. Inhale, arms extend, and exhale, take a goalpost. Nice open chest here. Squeeze that left glute, feel a sense of almost like the feet could pull towards each other for a bit of lift. And then turn to the front of the mat, plant the hands, come to plank. Two options here, you can stay up or lower the knees and hold. If you're up, you can walk the right leg out as wide as the mat, left leg out, right leg in, left leg in. Left leg out, right leg in and in. Right out, left out, right in, left in. One more, left out, right out, left in, right in. We'll all lower the knees, lower to the floor. Keep the lift as you go. Inhale, cobra, pull that chest forward. Or you can anchor into the pubic bone and lift the legs, fly the arms back for locust. Both options, feel a sense of the low belly, pulling up away from the floor. That's your sense of lift here. And exhale, hands plant, lift into your down dog. Pelvis rising here. Release the neck for a second and just shake the head out. Maybe side to side or a gentle nod. Exhale. And from here, we'll start the other side. Step the right foot forward, lower the left knee, untuck the toes. I'm sorry, keep the toes tucked, I lied to you. Inhale, rise. Left hand comes behind. In front, I mean, right hand behind. It is starting my language mix-ups. Get a sense of consolidation in the pelvis, and then slide those hands to come to the side of the pelvis. Shift forward in that right hip crease, deepening it, coming to a tilted crescent. Extending left knee, but keeping the left glute on. If you need to kind of poke at it to check in, that's fine. Lower the left knee here, back to your low lunge. Left hand in front, right hand behind for your sandwich. Pull those hands to the side of the pelvis, crease in that right hip, and shift forward slightly, tilted crescent. Still have a neutral pelvis, still have a sense of lift away from the mat, ribs out of the pelvis. Left knee lowers. Last time here, maybe sandwich that pelvis. Hands pull apart, side of the pelvis, shift to your tilted crescent. And then the left hand can reach alongside the ear. Right arm can reach alongside the pelvis. Check in on that left glute. Pull the ribs away from the right thigh. And then turn to the left side of the mat, toes facing that direction, shifting for your side lunges, moving side to side. Bending into one knee and hip, and then the other. You can keep that going. Option to pause, bending into left knee and hip, right fingers to the floor, and peel open for a twist to the left. Check in on the ribs if they're falling towards the floor. Encourage them to pull away. And now we've got this abduction challenge. If you'd like, you can keep with your side lunges or plant the left hand, both hands on the floor or blocks, shift into that left leg and lift and lower the right. Toes stay facing the side of the mat, Left knee stays nice and bent, really creasing in the left hip. And remember, if this doesn't feel good, just don't do it. There's no reason. I mean, there's a reason why we're doing it, but there's no reason to do something that's painful. 2 more if you're taking this. Good, and then we'll all tuck the right knee behind the left foot, sitting through a seated twist, unwinding to the opposite side of the mat. Feet plant and hands plant, lifting for your table. Using the glutes to lift the pelvis, get some extension in the hips. And once again, I want you to feel the strength of the upper back, opening the chest here. As you lift, even as you're lifting your front body up towards the ceiling, keep encouraging it towards the back so that we don't kind of spill up, but keep it controlled. 2 more. Good, we'll lower the pelvis, turn to the back of the mat. Left foot plants for bent knee pyramid, stepping that right foot back, or you can shift forward for a standing L, lifting the right leg. Both versions, you're keeping a bend in the left knee. You're really creasing the left hip back. Check in on your chin, trying to draw it towards the throat. And if you're in your standing L, you can start to add a pulse to the right leg. Just using the glute here, nothing else moves. Lifting and lowering that leg an inch or 2. We'll all lower the right toes, bend that knee, rise to crescent lunge. Get a sense of pulling these legs towards each other to lift you up and feel the ribs lifting out of the pelvis, arms extend. Exhale for your goalpost. Nice open chest here. Check in with the back of the neck, trying to keep some length. And then we'll windmill to the front of the mat, hands plant for a plank. You can lower the knees or step the left leg wide, right leg wide, left in, right in, and we'll do this 4 times. Keep feeling a sense of lift away from the mat, siphoning in the low belly. Good, and then we'll all lower the knees, lower to the floor. Inhale for cobra, or fly the arms and legs up for a locust. Use your glutes here to help you lift the front body. So if you have that anchor point, it's easier to lift the front away from the mat. Exhale, hands plant, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Release your neck. Big inhale. Exhale, let it out. And we'll walk the feet forward, coming to bent knee forward fold. Pressing into the feet and inhale, rise to stand. Sun Sal A, exhale, hinge at the hip, hands plant. Step back to plank or down dog. If you're in plank, lower the knees. With control, lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're all meeting there. Walk the feet in a little bit. Inhale, rise on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or hop forward. Bending the knees at the top, and inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Step back for a down dog or plank. If you're in plank, lower the knees or lower halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Chest pulls through. Exhale, down dog. We'll walk the feet in a bit. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or try a hop forward. And then inhale, rise to stand. Last time, exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant. Step back for down dog or plank. If you're in plank, lower however you want. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. Big inhale through the nose here. Exhale through the mouth. Let something out. And then we'll press into the right foot, lift the left leg, three-legged down dog. Keeping the hands anchored, step the left foot as far forward as you can, keeping the spine long, and then step the right foot forward. So you're in kind of a slightly wide-legged squat. Probably the feet aren't right behind the hands, that's fine. And then step the left foot back and the right foot back. We'll alternate here, so step the right foot forward, long spine, left foot steps forward, right foot back, left foot back. Left foot steps, right foot, left, and right. Remember, only go as far as you can with those hands on the floor and the spine long. So what we're trying to do is keep the spine neutral and flex at the hip joint rather than move the pelvis or the back to make this happen. It requires, you guessed it, your core kind of siphoning up towards the spine to give room to clear the feet on the floor. Last time here, right foot steps forward, left foot steps forward. Wherever you are, bend those knees and rise towards a chair. We'll press into the feet, extend the legs, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot off the mat and shift the hips back for a wide-legged squat. You can reach the right fingers to the floor or not. Rise slightly out of this squat and then shift into left leg. Right leg slides back. You can stay in a tilted crescent or lift the right leg for an airplane. Everybody press into the left foot and we'll rise, siphoning up to take that right leg to a hover just off the floor. And then lower the right foot. We'll step left foot off the mat, stepping wide, sitting hips back, bending the knees. Lift up slightly, shift into the right leg for tilted crescent or airplane. Left leg reaching back. Press into that right foot. Here we go, everybody. Envision your rib cage pulling out of your pelvis as you lift up to hover the left leg. Lower the left foot. We'll step right foot wide for your squat, lifting slightly, and then sweep the right leg back for tilted crescent or airplane. You can always use the hands on the left thigh here. Here we go. Use this left glute, wrapping it towards the heel, lift to your hover. Last time, left foot steps wide, sitting into our wide chair pose. Shift into the right leg for a tilted crescent or airplane. Press into that foot, we'll rise to hover, right glute wraps down. And then lower the left leg, sweep the right leg back for a tilted crescent. And then lift that leg slightly for an airplane. You can have both palms on the left leg. We'll bring the right hand to the inside of the left knee. And then press into the left foot. We're gonna open the pelvis to the right. So that looks like opening the pelvis for a half moon, but you can keep this left leg bent. And return, closing that right half of the pelvis, coming back to face the mat. Press into that foot, open up using, so basically we're externally rotating the left hip, opening up, and then close it once again. Oh, it's a lot on the left glute. I'm feeling it and I'm shaking. Press into that foot, open it up. This time we'll lower the right foot for warrior two. Open the arms wide here. Inhale. Exhale, reverse, side bending towards the back of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, warrior variation. Even here, feel like your legs are pulling towards the middle to give you some more lift. Inhale, one more time, reverse, exhale. Inhale through center, and exhale, warrior variation. Windmill to the back of the mat. We'll lower the left knee for a lizard. So you can lift the torso, really use the left glute to open up the front of the hip. You can lower the left hand for a bit of a twist to the right. You also can reach back and grab the left foot with the right hand, but still feel like the front of the left hip is siphoning away from the mat. We don't want it to fall towards the floor because we're not really in an active range in that position. So if we actively stretch, we can often use the mobility more than if we go to a position where really open in but don't have much strength in. Breathing here. Exhale. And then release those toes if you have it. We'll all tuck the left toes, fingertips to the floor or blocks, and shift the hips back, runner stretch. Bending both knees. Imagine a nice neutral pelvis just moving back in space. We'll just hold this for a second. Of course, your hands can be propped up on blocks. Good, and we'll shift forward, plant the hands, extend the right leg back, three-legged down dog. We'll go ahead and start to the other side here. So alternating steps. Hands stay anchored, we step right foot forward, left foot forward, right back, left back. And then switch, left forward, right forward, left back, right back. And as we move between these alternating steps, get that sense of your core siphoning up so much that it gives a little bit more clearance. And this is nothing, you don't need to be able to step to the top of the mat. That's not functional, but what we want to be able to do is have some mobility if we're on the ground to kind of move our legs closer, like if you had to stand up or something. So strengthening our core so we can use it in the everyday. 2 more rounds. And the next time you step the feet forward, press into the feet, sit the hips back, rise for your chair for just a second, arms reaching alongside the ear, lifting the rib cage out of the pelvis, and then press into the feet, inhale, really extend here. Oh, it feels good. We'll step the left foot wide, wide-legged chair, sitting those hips back. Lift a bit, slide into the right foot and shift the left leg back for a tilted crescent or airplane. Anchor into the right foot and we'll lift up towards vertical, hover the left foot. Really use the right glute as your anchor. Left foot lowers, right foot steps wide, hinging back for a chair. Shift into that left leg for tilted crescent or airplane. Right leg reaching back. And press into the foot. Here we go, like a seesaw. Lifting up nice and strong. Hover that right foot. Lower right and step left wide. Sit the hips back. I'll give you some optional arms this time if you want to play with it. We'll sweep the left leg back, left arm forward, right arm by the pelvis. And then press into the right foot. We'll lift, punch the right arm up to the ceiling, left arm down. If you want a little added coordination. Replace left foot, right foot steps wide. Shift into that left foot, right leg slides back. Maybe you add right arm forward, left arm back. Press into the left foot. We'll switch arms as we rise to stand. Punch that left arm up to the sky. And then lower the right foot, weight into it. And slide the left leg back for a bent knee airplane. That foot doesn't have to be super high. You could even keep the toes on the floor. Palms plant onto the right thigh. Feeling an anchor here. And then we've got these pelvic openings. So left hand to the inside of the pelvis, press into the right foot. We'll externally rotate the right hip to open the pelvis to some extent. Draw that left half back towards the floor. So imagine that right glute wrapping towards, the right heel, using this left hand as a bit of a guide for the inner thigh. Back to neutral. We'll do 2 more. Open it up. You can huff it out if you need. Back to neutral. If it feels really hard, know where your edge is and also just notice that it feels hard. Open it up, and then step the left foot down, warrior two. Let's big inhale, let some noise out. Side out. Exhale, reverse your warrior, side bending towards the front of the mat. Inhale to center, exhale, warrior variation. Inhale, exhale, reverse. Inhale, and warrior variation. Right forearm to thigh. We'll windmill to the front of the mat for our lizard variation, lowering the right knee. Remembering you can use the glute here in an elevated position. You also can add the twist with the right hand down. And final option is to grab the top of the right foot with the left hand. All options envisioning almost siphoning the right hip joint up in space, away from the mat. So we keep it really active there. And then release the foot if you've got it. We'll all tuck the right toes, grab your blocks or fingertips, and shift your pelvis back in space, bending the knee, flexing the left hip for runner stretch. Big inhale here, and exhale. One more breath, inhale, and exhale. We'll shift forward, plant the hands, and just step the left knee back to the floor, lower the right knee, sit the hips back, child's pose. You can flip the palms up to the ceiling, really feeling the hips crease here. And then inhale, and as you exhale, siphon that front body up towards your spine. You'll maybe feel some release in the low back. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale, shift the hips forward. Coming towards our stream, as we do in all of our LYT Yoga classes, we put this stuff together, maybe try some new variations. There are a couple things that are kind of new today, but I think they will be seamless to integrate, so I don't need to show them ahead of time. But take some water, take a moment if you need some time. And when you're ready, you can just catch up or catch it anywhere. So plant into the feet here, feeling for one last time, just as a preparation, like that rib cage was siphoning, pulling out of the pelvis, feeling the front body lace together to make that happen. And then inhale, arms reach forward and up, adding a little extra room. And exhale, hinge at the hips, hands plant to the floor or blocks. Right foot steps back, lower the knee, keep the toes tucked this time if that feels okay. Inhale, arms extend. From here, exhale, fingers to the floor. We'll turn to the right for a side lunge. Bend into the right knee and hip. Maybe add a twist, opening to the right side, anchoring the left hand down. And walk yourself back to the front, returning to our low lunge half kneel position. Inhale and exhale, fingers to the floor. We'll shift to the right for your side lunge. Back to the front, lower the right knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, shift it forward. We'll turn for our side lunge. We're gonna move on from here. Press into the right foot and we'll press off so much that we lift towards standing. Hover the right leg and then reach the right leg out to the left, or out to the right, excuse me, abduction. Cross the right knee behind the left, sit the hips back for curtsy. And then step the right leg wide, bending once again for your side lunge. Press off that right foot, rise to stand, hovering the right leg, and then right leg out to the right. Step it behind for curtsy. We'll do two more, so stepping it wide, side lunge right, press off that foot and rise to stand. Hold on to that left glute, right leg abducts, cross it behind, curtsy squat. Last time here, step it wide, side lunge, press off that foot, right leg out to the right, and step it behind, curtsy squat. Hands can be in prayer there. We'll step the right leg wide once again, only to move towards seated twist, Pulling that left knee behind the right foot, and you'll face the opposite side of the mat. If that's too much, ultimately we're facing the left side of the mat. The right leg is crossed over the left. You can always extend the left leg on the bottom. And let's just take a moment, big inhale, feeling some lift. And then exhale, twist through the ribs to the right, just gently. Coming back towards neutral, uncross the legs, plant those feet. Fingers face towards the feet or away from each other, and we'll lift for our table. And lower, and lift, and lower. Your next option is to try a pull through, so you lift, and then as you lower, you pull the pelvis back, kind of elevating on the hands, and pull it back through. This is a major siphoning action. If it feels like trash, you don't do it. And if it feels impossible, notice that. You don't have to do it today. You don't have to ever do it. Whatever you've got going will lift the pelvis to the floor. Turn to the back of the mat, plant your hands, and step back for down dog. Left leg lifts. Step left foot forward, left foot back, right foot back. So we're getting our alternating steps in. Another layer here if you want to try. When you step the feet back, step to plank. Maybe step 1 foot wide and then the other, and then step them in. And then ultimately step the feet forward again. So if you want to add a little plank moment, that's your moment. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can stick with the down dog steps. Whatever variation you've got going, we'll pause in down dog. Step the right foot forward for a standing L. You could keep this in a bent knee pyramid with the left toes down, or lift the left leg. Lower the left toes, shift the hips back for a runner stretch. Remember, you can use your blocks here. Shift the weight forward, bent knee pyramid or standing L. Keep that right knee bent. Lower the left toes, shift the hips back, deepen in that right hip crease. Shift it forward, standing L. You also could try flying the arms back for an airplane, lifting that torso, and then the left toes lower, shift it back. We'll do 2 more of whatever version you're doing. And then pause in your runner stretch from here. Press into the right foot, walk the right fingers on an upper diagonal, and then open up for a half moon, lifting that left leg to some extent, if that feels okay. If you don't like this, you can head to down dog. Heading to a right warrior 2. If you need to, step the right foot forward, or if you're in half moon, lower the left foot, rise for warrior 2, inhale, and reverse it. Inhale through center, feeling the lift here, warrior variation, right forearm to thigh. Oh, it feels nice. Inhale, we'll reverse 1 more time. Inhale through center, exhale, warrior variation. Press off the right foot, windmill to the front of the mat, hands plant, come to your quadruped, lowering the knees, and then take a cat-cow. Inhale for cow, exhale for cat, push the floor away. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. And then maybe take a moment to improvise. You can move organically through the 2, kind of snaking the spine sequentially. And then calm that down. We'll tuck the toes, lift through a down dog. And we'll head to the other side. We're almost there. Big inhale. Exhale, step the right foot forward, lower the left knee. Try keeping those toes tucked. Inhale, arms lift. Siphoning up from this low lunge here. And then exhale, shift the torso, fingers to the floor. Turn for your side lunge. Turning to the left, bend into left knee and hip. Option to add a twist left. Walk yourself back to the front of the mat. Left knee lowers. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, shift it forward and turn to the left for side lunge. Maybe add a twist. Back to the front of the mat, feeling some lift here, maybe more ability to move between these two shapes. Turn for your side lunge. Pause, bending into left knee and hip. And then we'll press to rise to stand. Press off the left foot, hover that foot, and left leg goes out to the left. Cross the leg behind, sit the hips back for curtsy. Left foot steps wide and we side lunge. Press off the left. Left leg goes out to the left. We cross it, curtsy. Side lunge left. Press off the foot, hover. Left leg out to the left. Cross it for curtsy. Take this in your time, of course. Last time we side lunge. Press to a hover. Left leg out to the left. Cross for your curtsy. We're headed to that seated twist, so we'll step the left foot towards the back of the mat and then turn to the back of the mat, bringing that right knee behind the left, ultimately facing the opposite side. Inhale, big lift here. Feel the ribs pulling out of the pelvis, and we'll add our twist just through our center axis to the left. Let go of that twist. We'll turn to the back of the mat, hands plant for down dog. Right leg lifts, and we head into our steps. So once again, you step one foot forward and then the other, and then back. And remember, next option, if you want to take it, when you step back is to head to plank. You can even make this, the legs a little jump apart before you step forward again. But that's an option. That's if you want it. That's if that feels exciting. We're all different and we can embrace it. One more set. And then pause in your down dog next time you get there. Step the left foot forward, pausing for a bent knee pyramid, or lift the right toes for a standing L. We'll all shift back into our runner stretch, and then push off the back foot, returning to bent knee pyramid or standing L. So keeping the knees nice and bent here, and feeling almost like there's a suctioning between the left thigh and the torso. That's a lot on the back chain of the left leg, so if it's too much, don't beat yourself up. Last time, pause in your runner stretch. We'll shift forward towards half moon, shifting into the left foot. Left fingers come on the diagonal in front of you, and then open that pelvis up so that the right toes are facing the side of the mat. Right leg is reaching back. And if this doesn't feel good, head to a down dog or really any shape that your body's calling for. Heading to left warrior two, so step the left foot forward if you need. If you're in half moon, lower the right foot. Lift for your warrior two, inhale, and exhale, reverse. Side bend towards the front of the mat. Inhale, exhale, warrior variation. Inhale, rise, exhale, reverse. Inhale through center, and exhale, warrior variation. Press off that left foot while windmill to the front of the mat, hands plant and lower the knees for your quadruped. But if it feels okay, immediately take the knees wide and sit back for a child's pose. Again, you can try rotating the palms up towards the ceiling. Big inhale here. And exhale, release. So we spent so much of class trying to lift. Now's our moment, we get to go splat. Big inhale. And exhale. If you're ready, you can make your way onto your back. And we'll just briefly find a happy baby pose. So coming to recline all the way back. Maybe drawing the knees towards you if that feels okay. If there's another position that's feeling better to you, go for that. And then we'll take the legs away from each other here, and then press the feet up towards the ceiling, keeping the knees bent. So legs are apart, almost like you were on a horse or something. And then you can try bringing the hands to the inside of the feet, the inner borders. Ideally keeping the back of the neck long and the head on the floor. We'll just press the feet into the hands and resist with the fingers. So the feet won't move in space, but we've got this active sense of kind of pushing through the feet. At the same time, exhale and draw your deep abdominals towards the spine. You'll feel a little bit of opening in the low back of the pelvis. And just let that go, release the feet. You can bend the knees, once again, relaxing those legs. Just taking a few circles with the knees in one direction, kind of traveling around the back of the pelvis, and then try in the opposite direction. Feeling muscles kind of release into the floor. And then we'll head to a Shavasana, finding any position where you can release all of the effort. If you're using the playlist, you can skip to the final song. And we'll be here for a few moments. Releasing all effort, muscular, mental, spiritual. Just taking a moment to exist. If you have the time to stay in Shavasana longer today and you'd like to, just mute the computer. If you're ready to move, deepen your next inhale. Exhale through the mouth, letting yourself deflate. And maybe on your next inhale, reach the arms overhead, along the floor if you're on your back. Getting some extra siphoning of the ribs away from the pelvis. Exhale, release. Keeping those eyes closed, slowly make your way towards maybe a comfortable seat. If that doesn't feel right for you, stay in a position that does. If you're seated, just taking one last moment to feel this siphon, this idea that something outside of ourselves could lift us up, remind us of our length and our strength, and maybe carrying that with us for the rest of the week. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. That's very bright. I'll stick around if you have any questions. If not, I'm back tomorrow and Thursday. I hope to see you soon. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, everyone.